Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick and welcome to White Knight. This is a game that I've started playing. I want to say I've started playing it a couple times. Once when it came out and then a second time later, and then I got relatively farther. I want to say I got like, I want to say this game measures its length in chapters and or acts. And I got to like chapter 3 or act 3. But for some reason I stopped. So now I would like to go back to White Knight and play through it in its entirety because, like, this is a game that I do appreciate greatly for, especially for its art style. Its story is interesting. It's not exactly compelling to the point where I must find out exactly what happened, because it's more of a ghost story. The ground that you're treading upon is dead for a long time. You're just what's the term for taking a corpse out of the ground? There's a specific term for that. You're essentially digging up the corpse, finding out the secrets to people long dead. But it is still interesting enough to warrant curiosity as to what the mystery is actually going to reveal. The gameplay itself is okay. It has an interesting gimmick of light and shadow. But ultimately all you're really doing is collecting matches and lighting candles. And sometimes those candles go out, and sometimes you run low on matches. That said, let us just jump right into it. Though I suppose the term jump right into it is kind of meaningless if I've already kind of set it up with a extended intro of my own.
Some nights are just pitch black, without stars, and without sleep. Dirty nights clinging to you like tar. Like this one night, back in 1938. Boston. The Great Depression tsunami was just sweeping over what was left of America. Misery, hunger, despair. Times are hard, they said. Times were worse than hard. And the bar was about to close. As far as I was concerned, this was just another intoxicated day drawing to an end. If only I knew.
Did I mention this was detective noir in style? Now that I think about it, like, the entire idea of, like, digging up a corpse, the secrets already long buried, its victims and its culprits long dead. Like, he's talking about the Depression, and the ghosts that you're searching for are also kind of reminiscing over a more successful time. That is sharp. Like, I don't appreciate his littering, but like, this art style really works. And you can tell its contrast, but especially when you're going from brighter areas, like this scene outside of the motel where there's the moonlight to the darkness that is the house. Head of production. Now, this driving sequence kind of gives the illusion of gameplay. There's no way to lose the driving sequence. Though, considering the fact that signs appear both on the left and right side of the road, if you want to continue to read all of the intro credits, essentially, it a little bit pushes you to simulate the act of driving drunk. Like, instead of trying to, like, stay in your lane, there's a little bit of an encouragement to go left and right. And I also kind of just want to sit back and listen to this Listen to this lady sing.
If we'll live, if we'll die tonight.
You ever do that? Drive into the darkness, nothing but the hum of the engine, the sound of the tires in the road, a sad, sorrowful song playing on the speakers. And nobody around you for miles. Here's a question: is he alive? I haven't even gotten to past that
The
point.
shock was still echoing in my bones, as the image of that girl coming out of nowhere surged back in my mind. Did I hit her? Was she dead? I couldn't remember. Thoughts were spinning in my head. I hope I didn't run her over. I hope she's still alive. Then, the pain. The terrible pain on my side. And this question. Where am I?
Well, presumably you'd be right off the side of the bridge where you crashed. But that also leads to the question, like, is he still alive? Is he imagining this? Is this real? But on a pitch black night, in the middle of nowhere, without streetlights, without cell phones, despite the pain, using left stick to walk was still possible. Like, that's great. I could examine the place using cross button. The car was on the brink of death. All right. Shall we take a look at this tire? This girl on the road, the impact. I couldn't find her body. I cannot examine that garbage bag. What about this stump? What clues will this stump unveil to me? It will tell me nothing. Can I look at this electrical box? Yes. The box seemed to be connected to the electric lighting on the street. No body, no blood. Where did the girl disappear? Hold on. Have I killed her? Who was the girl that crossed the road? I couldn't avoid her, but I never found her body. I couldn't get her desperate stare out of my mind, but I was wounded and I needed help. Like, when you've got a UI, and not just UI elements, but, like, just the sound effects. For help, I could rely on the Boston Daily News, which I could check with triangle button. I'm only bothered by the fact that there is no, but I've already checked that one.
trying to collect my thoughts, but the intense pain was scattering them like a bunch of dead birds. My fear of being wounded changed into an obsession. Was I about to die?
His fear of being wounded. I mean, I suppose nobody wants to be wounded. I don't want to be wounded, do you? But I don't necessarily fear being wounded. I fear the medical expenses more than I fear the wound. The arm came from a marble structure. For sale. This board looked as old as the house. It was quite a drop. The darkness of the well spat a salty smell to my face. The bucket fell down a dozen meters at least, no way to recover it. Thinking this was a premonition was probably just superstition, but I felt definitely uneasy. Let's take a look at what this symbol is on the tree. Seems like an odd place to put a symbol, like one of those, like if you've played a hidden game, like a hidden object game, like you'd put a symbol there. This unknown symbol let out a powerful aura. I also remember when I was playing this game, both first and second time, that this intro section really kind of drags out your initial injury. Like, the initial injury makes for more plot importance than it does for gameplay, than it does for making the gameplay interesting, because you're just kind of like dragging your feet through this entire section. There was still some golden liquid inside the glass. Don't drink it. The glass was still moist, and the chair was overlooking the garden. Someone was there very recently. If that person were to come back, my wound would be the only acceptable reason for breaking in. Someone was here recently. A letter from Martha Kenton to William Vesper. Under normal circumstances, I would never try to contact you. I am an honest woman. I've supported my husband since the blessed day of our wedding, from which 2 beautiful children were born. I have given them the best education I could, but today I cannot afford to raise them properly anymore. We are ruined. My husband's employer went bankrupt. He is traveling from town to town trying to find a job while I have to beg for food every single day. My 4-year-old son has a bad cough, which is getting worse, and I fear for his life. Nowadays we can see children die in the streets. Is this still America? I beg of you who are rich, only a few dollars would be enough. We could work for you. We live in the shack under the best oil sign at the entrance of the slum by the Graham slaughterhouses. Don't hesitate to come. Martha Kenton. I don't think she came. Is there absolutely nothing in this dark, dank corner of the porch? The answer is nothing. But nobody answered. Still, nobody answered. The landlord was out, so the key might be around somewhere. That's always hopeful reasoning.
No one around. I was all alone, with my pain growing and some nausea starting up. Don't stop. Think quick. Think well. It was just an accident. It happens.
Yeah.
The girl must have made it out alive. I had to make it out alive, too.
Couldn't see a thing. The window was watching over a tomb. A little bit of premonition. let's go check out these gravestones and that statue over there on the left. Which seem like they're farther than they were in when viewed from the house. Margaret Vesper. On the grave, the name Margaret Vesper seemed to challenge eternity itself. Who was she? The grave looked as daunting as a forgotten tomb. What a dire way of decorating a garden. No key here. Oh, I think I know exactly where the key is, and it's kind of dumb. B. Norman, the name coming from nowhere, was chilling. See that shadow draped across the cross in the center of this image? That's where the key is, but because I can't see it in the darkness, I can't pick it up. Henry Vesper, a relative of the landlord. Was that written on the gravestone? The key was probably hidden nearby. But that just goes to show how important the concept of light and shadow, light and darkness, is to this game. That the mysteries are always held within the darkness. Answers are always in the light. The statue is staring at me with a white and hostile stare. I would not use that word, though because I don't like the repetition of the word stare. The statue is staring at me with that white and hostile stare. You use the word stare twice within the same sentence. I would probably emphasize like the statue was looking down on me with a white and hostile stare, because now you've got two different emotions that are also being presented, while also not repeating the same word, as I say, while also repeating the same word. But hey, this is all off the cuff. William Vesper, no date on the grave. Well, maybe one day William Vesper will get a date on his grave. It's the key! Twisted, but the dead probably kept burglars away.
I had the feeling I was about to desecrate a sanctuary, to open the door to a world I didn't belong to. But whoever lived in there, they would understand. I needed help. Anyone would understand that.
Oh, I assure you, sir, nobody lives here. Only ghosts. I couldn't help but think about the statue's broken arm. Someone had obviously moved it recently, but I couldn't help thinking it was some kind of desecration. Oh, beer. Yeah. You may love it, you may hate it, or you may have never drunk a beer. Did you know the cost of all new jobs in the Civilian Conservation Corps program for Roosevelt's New Deal could be covered just by the taxes on beer? Over $328 million. Taxes on beer amount to almost $1 million per day. Beer means over 1 million jobs for you. Okay, hold on. Are you getting paid $1 a day? Maybe. This is the 30s. Your neighbors or your friends. Beer producers know they offer well-being, but they also want beer to be safe for everyone. Enjoy with moderation, and the future, yours like ours, will always be prosperous. Beer is your product, and it's your future. All right. I missed a spot. That's okay. We'll live, somehow. Also, check out that sweater. Sweater with all the chevrons upon it.
Getting somewhere safe. That's all that mattered. As the doors opened, the mansion seemed to react to my presence. There was a smell, like a cornered animal. The smell of fear. And yet, I entered the place because I had no choice. I was praying to find a phone or some help. I didn't even bother wondering what happened to prayers when they reached the wrong door.
Oh yeah, chapters. There we go. Oh yeah, just ignore the dirty footprints in the floor. Are they bloodied? Are they muddied? It's hard to tell from this angle. Ah, but there's a phone. An old-timey phone. But no dial tone. Oh, never mind.
Hello? Hello? I need an ambulance. Can you hear me? I need help.
What happened? This cold. The darkness around me. I was usually not afraid of the dark. But there, on that day, I remembered I had a matchbox somewhere in my jacket. The urge to light a match was growing with every new chill running down my spine.
In my pocket, I found a box of matches. I could get some light using circle button. Alright, let's see if we can find a candle. I was hoping to find more, but I had to make do with what I had. The boots had been used very recently. Actually, let's go into this room over here. I think this room is a safe room. The armchair looked comfy. I could get some rest and save my progress. Selena, Night, Smoke and Mirrors Jazz.
Are you there?
As I woke up, I had recovered some strength. I could run using square button. Yep, and now I can walk properly again. Come Darkness, October 29th, 1938. The time came when we stopped counting. We stopped counting how many companies closed in the past 9 years, how many unemployed and families ended up in the streets, forced to live in slums around our cities. We stopped counting. All the commodities wasted because nobody could buy them, thrown to the sea or burnt. We stopped counting how many of our business partners fell with us. It was 9 years ago, on October 29th, 1929. Born from the sick and speculative belly of America, the crash would throw the world into the storm and darkness. We are still here, but we lost faith. And we stopped counting because these were just figures, because today, They make us feel nauseous. Dawn seemed far at that time, and today some think they can see the sun rise. They seem to forget night and darkness are always out there, somewhere. Just a little grim. Oh, hold on. A soothing aura was surrounding this lunar goddess statue. A statue representing moonlight, perhaps? I see some matches in the background here. Oh, hello.
Help me.
Who was it? Or what was it? In my world, women didn't glow like the moon. And they didn't walk through doors either.
Well, seems like your world
than I thought.
is a little disappointing. Nothing special about that wardrobe. I don't think I can actually go into the library yet. The crucifix was not comforting at all. Closed. I was locked on this side. Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 12. William is 7 today. He is with Henry, running after the servants in the garden, dressed up like monsters from space. Games, always games. The mansion is all upside down, and their yells gave me an awful headache. I'm now cloistered in the office, unable to even pray. Henry's fantasies keep William away from his greatest destiny. I have to bring him back to me, as this will be my only chance to make a man out of him, to make him embrace the Venter Cross legacy, to show him the way. Henry is a dreamer, and he has no ambition whatsoever. He can't teach him anything. Behind every great man there is a great woman. Nonsense! Woman should be on the front line. This is where the opposite brought us. I have no illusion about how little power the world is leaving in the hands of women. But William is young, he is the future. I will act through him, and may night finally fall upon this house. May William stop running after deceiving lights to find the place he deserves in this world. Okay, she seems to have gone a little mad. A boy with religious dress, a house full of old traditions. Mostly, the madness, I'm more focused on the fact that she's trying to run her kid's life. Seeing the woman with the church candle, I was wondering where God was. Not in this house. A box full of old science books, eh? The garden looked like it was sleeping in the darkness. Do they have any books by William Nye, the Scientific Gentleman? Was it the glow of the accident I was seeing here? Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 11. Suffocating in its useless illuminations and frills. The mansion doesn't have the greatness befitting a fortune like the Vespers. It's the work of a degenerate romantic. It's like a stain in this century. I ordered the flower beds on the east side of the garden to be removed. They made moving around complicated, and in summer their scent was unbearable. I didn't talk about it to Henry, and he was quite upset. For the first time, I think I saw something like rage in his eyes. For a few seconds, he did look like a man. And then he shut himself back in his melancholy and played the piano all afternoon. His jazz again. This stupid music which reeks of debauchery and misery. Can't even believe the children these days listening to the jazz music. Enjoying the debauchery. Oh no. Oh, by the way, sometimes matches fail you. I couldn't open it, it was no use. Oh. Did I turn on that light? Or was that lightning? Oh wait, hold on. There is a light switch. This mountain landscape couldn't soothe me. There is a light, and then there's that symbol that was painted on the tree outside. 2 men on a small boat. A memory from an expedition. Encyclopedias. The edge was hardly readable. Right. Who answered? I couldn't forget that sound. Once inside the house, I tried to use the phone to call for help, but the answer was scrambled and unintelligible. Who was it? As a chill went down my spine, the entrance door locked itself behind me. You're not going to question why the door just closed by itself and locked? Locked. No matter. I needed help, and it was in there. Oh, hello. Just a shadowy figure moving in the background. Don't mind me. For too many of us, the political equality we once had was meaningless in the face of economic inequality. A small group had concentrated into their own hands and almost complete control over other people's property, other people's money, other people's labor, other people's lives. For too many of us, life was no longer free, liberty no longer real. Men could no longer follow the pursuit of happiness. Against economic tyranny such as this, the American citizen could appeal only to the organized power of the government. The collapse of 1929 showed up the despotism for what it was. The election of 1932 was the people's mandate to end it. Under that mandate, it is being ended. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, June 27, 1936. I wonder, is that actually a real, speech from Franklin Delano Roosevelt? Like, how much history was researched for this game? I'm so tired. Father ordered several leather club chairs from a Quincy craftsman. They are perfect. It is one of the few places where I can rest and think. Margaret wouldn't touch them, and I have no idea why. Maybe because they are marked with a sun, which made her blind. I don't know. I'm just happy they are here. Thank you, Father. Okay, a lot's going on in that specific text. Sheet music was taken away from that glass case. There was sheet music here, but it's gone now. I could look around using left stick, and I was still free to act using cross button. The box lid was displaying an esoteric symbol. A small music box with a secret inside. I could feel it shudder under my fingers. The symbol of Venus was engraved on the lid. The box was closed. There was a small opening for a key. Is that novel called What She Said by H.G. Wells? This is a place I could save my game. William Vesper's Diary, Excerpt 10. I watched them from behind the vapors of my whiskey. Drunk men and women who bark at each other like animals. They grab and bite each other in a preposterous parade that seems to arouse them. I'm outraged, and yet I'm jealous of their foolishness, their ability to just forget everything in this game. Then there's the lovers, leaning and whispering to each other amid the chaos, confident that their words would find their way to the mind of their significant other. I dream of being in his place, drinking in her words. What could she say to me? What would I answer? Would I tell her I love her? Maybe I wouldn't say a word. Maybe I would hit her. I could be her son. I could be the son of all women. What is going on with this person's mental state? That is... The globe was covered with scribbling. The windows had no handle, a very unhelpful peculiarity. The gramophone could only play Silent Dust. Oh, hello.
I decided to accept her presence. After all, from all those weird things I had seen that night, she was the only one who hadn't tried to kill me.
But I don't think I can actually go straight to her. Dearest William, you wanted to know more about me. Last time I didn't tell you everything. This letter will make up for this. When I arrive in California in 1930, I am only 18. This is a marvelous place and the weather is so nice. I spend hours on the beach, astonished to see how brown my Norwegian skin can become. That's not the best phrasing. In the evening, I hang near the jazz clubs. In the afternoon, I watch people play on the beach. Although I suppose if you're Norwegian, you expect a life of paleness. Humming the tunes I heard the night before. Sometimes I try to sing louder than the waves. That's a good exercise. My English is quickly improving thanks to the American songs I already knew in Oslo. At the time, I'm barely aware of the social misery that is devouring your country. I'm young. I want to be beautiful, to meet people my age and to sing. In Los Angeles, at the Spice Club, I meet the members of a jazz band. They are talented and funny. We play all night. I forget about the hour and about my parents. They even call the police. At the end of the night, the musicians tell me they are looking for a singer and that they want me. I can hardly believe it. Have you ever felt that you finally belong somewhere? It feels fantastic. The answer is no. Oh, hello.
This thing looked like it was reaching out from some fairy tale. The kind of stories in which kids get devoured by some witch in a dark forest. Was it real? Delusion or not, I tried not to think about it. Only a madman can think mad things.
So yeah, there's also a phantom that chases you in the darkness. Summer of 1912, my only family after father's death. Their voices, their footsteps, their lives. I miss them all. Let's grab this matchbook. Now, I believe I need to find the record to put on the gramophone. Let's see if we can search this without luring the phantom out. Of all the bars I visited, the Smoke and Mirrors appears to have... Oh, by the way, William Vesper's Diary, Excerpt 12. Of all the bars I visited, the Smoke and Mirrors appears to have been especially tailored for me. People there are quiet, melancholic, even. They stagnate in the swirling smoke of their cigarettes, like convicts, desperate victims that were pushed to the darkness by the crisis. But even if the bar is an elegant place, they are not driven away. They respect their right to oblivion. It is a place where they can disappear. I found myself a corner from which I can watch their comings and goings until I'm carried to the abyss by my own whiskey. Every time I'm caught again by the band. Such good musicians. Their music is like a tear that time stretches. Or a tear that time stretches. That makes more sense. A slow jazz, steady and reserved. It is the music of their time, the music of those who fell on the wayside. Someone told me about a singer who just got hired. Well, I don't think the band needs that, but we will see. Alright, so I can go into that room, but for now... Nope, nope. We're going to go to the light. And what was on this side? Without light, I couldn't do anything. Let's save our game. And I think this is where I'm going to stop for the night. Got any suggestions for something to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.